how we made $35,000 in 80 days. Now let me clarify something. It may have taken 80 days from the day we bought the property to the day we closed it, but realistically, we only spent 12 hours of actual work to make $35,000. But be sure to stay till the end because I'm gonna be showing you guys how you can do it too. If you guys are just tuning in, my name is Brian Trent. I'm a fix and flipper, I wholesale properties, and I also run a bunch of other companies. And I wanna share with you guys how you guys can get out of the rat race and into the lane of financial freedom. So let's go into the full numbers, guys. But if you wanted a full breakdown, I put the video right here in another video where I did it and I labeled every single cost that we had incurred in the flip. But long story short, we sold the property for $489,000, which is a little bit under what we were expecting to sell for. We also had to give the buyers a credit of $14,000 to help them with their closing costs. And all in, we were right at $440,000, so that put about $35,000 in our pocket. So here's how the whole thing went down. I got a call from social media from people that know that I flip properties and I wholesale properties and said, Brian, I have this home, I think it's perfect for you. Long story short, we went out there, we looked at the property. Yeah, there was some meat on the bones. And so we bought the property and we began the process of doing construction. We got bids. We went ahead and fixed the kitchen, the roof. We painted the whole house. We retiled the bathroom floor. We reglazed the tub and the shower surround. And we got the property staged. And boom, we got it back on the market. And that's how we made $35,000 in 80 days. So let me clarify with you guys why we only spent 12 hours of actual work. The reason why it only spent 12 hours is because I don't do any of the actual construction. We pay people for that. And a lot of times when things were getting done, all we had to do was pick up the phone and talk with the project manager who was actually foreseeing and doing all the work. Now, why did we go out there and why did we rack up 12 hours? Mostly because I went out there to shoot content for you guys, and we went out there to meet the contractors the first time, to check out the staging, and then another time to check on it when things were raining very heavily here in California. We wanted to make sure that all the properties did not flood. The rest was literally picking up the phone, texting the project manager saying, how are we looking? Where are we at today? Send me pictures. Send me pictures. That's it. Guys, and this is why I love real estate so much, whether it's buying it for the long hold or even just flipping it. If you learn how to build it out like a business, it is very easy to delegate and leverage. From the financial aspect, I literally put out no money on this property, right? We were able to leverage the hard money lenders, the private investors, they fronted the whole money. So my return was basically infinite because I didn't put out a single dollar and I made $35,000. I leveraged my skills, I leveraged my know-how, my systems to earn me that paycheck. What did we learn flipping in this whole recession, right? Now, luckily we did make money. Now, I wouldn't really say it's luck because the first thing that I learned and actually executed was underwriting the deal very aggressively, having super high standards and not just flipping for the sake of flipping. And we never once speculated that we were gonna get over for the property. As a matter of fact, we actually took the comps and deducted it by 6%. And on top of it, we should have probably did it at 10 or 15% because if we had done that and we would have gotten the property for cheaper, we would have made the target amount that we set out to make. But unfortunately, the market kind of went down and it was very slow, so we ended up making only half of what we were targeting to make for this property. So, lesson number one, guys, never speculate and underwrite your deals very aggressively. Whatever the comps have shown, whatever they have sold for, I would deduct it by an additional 15 to 20%. Lesson number two, the second lesson that I learned flipping this property was that it was actually a little bit further than I wanted to be. It was a little bit out of an area that we tend to flip in. And so the problem with that is our usual construction crew, the people that we rely on to get these properties all beautiful and stuff, they didn't service that area. So we had to go through another company called Free Model, and they put up all the money, which was great, but they didn't do the job fast enough to our standard. And so that, guys, actually put us a little bit into the winter months. And of course, as you know, November, December, when you're setting a home out in the market, it's a little bit harder to gain some traction. And so we sat on the property a lot longer than we wanted to because guess what? Thanksgiving Christmas really halted the market this year, on top of the feds raising the rate so much. And the third thing I learned, guys, is that in this market where things are a little bit slower, the buyers are super picky. We did some decent work here. We did a new kitchen, we did new roof, but we didn't really touch the bathroom too much, and we didn't really change the flooring. Now, the lesson that I learned was that in this market, we have to be dialed in. What does that mean? Well, it means that the buyer needs to walk in and absolutely fall in love with the whole freaking house. Like, everything has to be done from top to bottom. New bathroom, new kitchen, new flooring. You know, the walls have to look new. The house has to look new. And that's how you get people to actually write and pay what the home is worth. Otherwise, they're just gonna beat you up on the price, which they did here. Luckily, I'm nobody to beat up, right? So we did pretty all right. Had we had spent an extra $10,000 or $15,000 on the bathroom, we probably would have been on target with making the $65,000 or $70,000 that we were expecting to make. But because it wasn't, and because we didn't spend any money on the backyard as well, we went and actually got less. You might be listening to this and saying, well, at that point, it might take too long. We shouldn't flip the property. You're absolutely right. If the numbers don't make sense for you to do all those things, wholesale the property out. And if you don't know what wholesaling, guys, I'm gonna go right into it real quickly, is that you lock up the property as if you're gonna buy it, but then you assign the contract to a new buyer who will purchase it and give you a fee. It can be, for example, if I have the property in contract for $300,000 and I go ahead and assign the contract to the new buyer for $310,000, I make $10,000. The beautiful thing about that, guys, you don't do any work. You don't have to pick up a hammer. You don't have to call the contractors. You don't have to remodel the home. Let somebody else do it. Make the $10,000. Granted, you're gonna make less than if we were to flip the property, but a lot less risk, especially in this market. Thanks so much for staying to the end, and as promised, guys, I'm gonna show you guys how you guys can do it too in a few simple steps. The first step is prospecting. You wanna find a bunch of realtors that are very good at selling in your area that you wanna be in. The reason why is that typically those guys have a lot of listings and they have a lot of off markets. Now it's your job to build that relationship, so start calling them and letting them know that you are an investor and that you want to flip homes. And you will give them the opportunity to help you buy the property and also list the property. They will start looking for you. Okay guys, so step 2, you identified the list, you found the home, you know the neighborhood, you know every single house in that neighborhood, and you know what they look like. Now you have to do the research to figure out what it's worth. Simple, just use Redfin or Zillow. Look up every single 3-bedroom, 2-bath, 1,000 square foot home that is similar, that looks all good. What are those selling for, right? Now, if you know and you pick up a live seller and their house looks like one of these, you gotta take the Redfin estimate or the Zillow estimate and you go ahead and multiply that by 0.7. So you basically wanna knock off 30%. If you can get that property for under 30%, you got yourself a good deal. It's as simple as that. Now, how you got that property off? You're not stealing the property, guys. It's because typically those properties are gonna need work, okay? And the owners don't have the money or the time to do the work. So if it's a $500,000, what is 70% of 500? If you can get it for that price, you're typically gonna be pretty good to flip, wholesale, or even burr the property, all right? After that, guys, if you can get it for that price, you lock it up into contract, you open escrow, you buy the property, you secure the hard money lender or the private investor, and you close out the property, you do the work, make all the money. It's that simple. I can't go into the full details of how to do it step by step, but those are the general steps. If you want to learn more, make sure you subscribe. And if you want to see the journey of what this Pittsburgh project looked like, watch this video right here.